A dead bug is a great core exercise. It's especially good for people who tend to arch into their spine when they do movements. The goal of the exercise is to keep your core engaged and breathe normally as you do the movements. There are multiple steps to this and you can combine them sometimes. It may use a small weight or none at all, just depending on what level you're at. But again, the idea is to keep your core engaged, breathe normally as your limbs do the movement. The setup for the dead bug is to lay down flat. You want to make sure that your back is hull flat. So if you have a little arch in your low back here, you want to tuck under and get nice and flat. You don't need to be pressing down necessarily to squish the ground, but you want everything to stay in contact. So you're going to do arms straight up, fingers spread wide. Both of your legs come up. You want 90-degree bend at the hips, 90-degree bend at the knees and the toes. And you're actually going to turn your knee out a little bit. So when you look down, your feet are just inside of your knees. This is the start position. In a dead bug hold, you just hold this position, you keep your back flat, and you breathe normally. This should not be a high breath function, meaning you should be able to breathe pretty normally. You should be able to talk while you do it. So you'll know that you've got this mastered when you feel a little bit of core work, maybe a little bit of leg work, but you're able to breathe and talk normally. Arms only dead bug, you can either move one arm at a time, or both arms together, or you can put a weight in your hands. You can use a kettlebell, you can use a dumbbell, you can use a plate, and you can go overhead. Now the key when you're doing just the arms is that this upper back needs to stay flat. So it's easy when you get up here to let your upper back arch, your ribs come off the ground. You want to keep those nice and flat as you bring it overhead. You also don't want any shoulder discomfort. So especially if you're doing the weighted ones, if you get too far and you feel a pinch in your shoulder, you want to stop short of that. So you can do small arc if that's what you can handle. You also want to try to keep your elbows pretty straight. They don't have to be all the way locked out. A little bend is okay, but this is more of a tricep curl, or a tricep extension. So you really want to be keeping your arms pretty stable. The elbow doesn't move as you bend. For a legs only dead bug, you're going to keep the knee bent to the same angle and just take your foot down, touch the ground, come back up. When you're doing legs only, you want to make sure your low back does not arch up as you move forward and your pelvis doesn't tilt. So there should be no motion from here to here as your leg goes down. The further out you reach, the harder it is. So the longest reach, the straight leg, is the hardest version. For an opposite arm leg dead bug, you're going to do the opposite arms down and up. You should be able to get both straight all the way to the ground before you do this one. Again, keeping everything nice and flat as you do it and breathing normally. A weighted lower extremity dead bug, you're going to take the weight, you're going to bring it over your head just a little bit till you feel your abs engage. You can use a kettlebell, you can use a dumbbell or plates, whatever weight you got, or your cat. And you're going to bring the weight just overhead. So it's just above your head. It's not above your eye line. It's a little above you. You have to look up to see it. You're going to keep it there. Keep that core engaged. And then you're going to take the leg down. This could be bent knee, or you could go straight leg. You could also do both at the same time. This is basically the most challenging version of dead bug. Is both arms, both legs with a weight.